makes the honors program in political science at JSIA unique is that we're not just teaching you a discipline, we're preparing you to keep up with a very quickly changing domain. Politics has changed substantially since in the last decade, in the last 2 decades. We're moving away from politics that just focuses on formal and state institutions. So we need to start understanding political issues in relation to a changing landscape of institutions. There are 2 recent crises that really bring this out. One is Cambridge Analytica, and that brought out the role of big data and the private sector in actually shaping electoral outcomes. And the other is ongoing in the form of coronavirus, which raises questions about what should and can state officials do? How do we compare infrastructures across different countries? Which countries can be reasonably compared, and how do countries develop their responses based on data and information and approaches from other countries? So the urgency of these questions is becoming even more pressing as problems become more global. What makes JSIA an especially good place to study politics in this way is that we bring together the domestic and the international perspective. So you will still focus on national politics, you still focus on the nation state, you understand why politicians make the decisions they do, but you do it in an environment where you get exposure to people who have backgrounds in practice across a wide variety of domains. Whether it's people from the private sector, we have faculty who have been diplomats and worked in foreign policy, and we have a really global faculty who understand political science not just in India, but in their own countries of origin or the countries where they studied. So that gives you a different perspective on what politics is and what politics can be. And our hope is that our students will then go out and practice and really think about what they can change about the practice of politics, not just to fit into a slot, but to actively change that landscape. These days, a lot of programs are talking about interdisciplinarity, but at JSIA, what interdisciplinarity means to us is threefold. One is that students will have the opportunity to learn from focused research centers where there is a rigorous approach to specific kinds of research questions. The second is that we are blurring the distinction between looking at international affairs and looking at domestic politics separately. So we will understand Indian politics within a regional perspective, within an international perspective, and in a perspective that doesn't just center the theories and models that are developed in the global north, but that actually take into account, say, East Asian politics or African politics or the rising power of BRICS countries. And the third aspect of interdisciplinarity for us is that we include practice in disciplines. So we understand that practitioners who are scholars and thinkers themselves will have their own perspectives on how the domains of politics are changing, and we want students to learn from that.